drink with the guy. I mean, he's in pain. He understands that the world's upside down. It's being run by radical liberals. And that's where we are. They're working for the other side, taking the side of Al-Qaeda, pretending that they're protecting us. San Antonio, Sam, welcome to the Savage Nation.
Hey, I got a great reason to go to San Francisco. It's sailboat racing on the bay.
Bingo. Thank you for bringing it up. I'm a boater, and I know that there's nothing more beautiful. There are actually some of the finest boating in the world is here.
It's the most phenomenal place I think I've ever been.
Well, I'm not a sailor. I am a power boater, but still in all, I love the bay's boating. The air is unlike any other. Look, I have a place in Florida that I go to. I find it too hot to boat down there. You need air conditioning to boat in Florida, by and large. Here, you don't need air conditioning. You know, you need to wear even on a summer day, if I go out in my boat and I go out through the Golden Gate, most of the time I need to wear a sweatshirt. I need to cover my complete, my body and head and all of that. It's gorgeous. Gorgeous.
If you're not dealing with the current, then you're dealing with the wind or the fog or commercial traffic. It's the most dynamic place I've ever been. First time I ever went there was 1980, and we did very, very bad.
Well, you're right. It's a great place for sailors. I totally agree with you. And speaking of commercial traffic, I pity the captains of freighters coming into this bay. Just as drivers have to put up with the inane, selfish bicycle riders around San Francisco who truck their bicycles to Marin County, for example, and act as though they were born here and as though they themselves don't have a car and they block the lanes. You go out in the bay and you see these morons in kayaks or in sailboats, and you hear the poor captains of the freighters honking a mile away, and the idiots won't move their sailboats or their kayaks. I'm surprised that more people aren't injured or hurt. I'll be right back.
Savage.
They're funny, they're entertaining, and I couldn't drive an hour without them.
Armstrong and Getty. Weekday morning, 6 to 10. Talk 910 KNEW.
The President, Leader Reid, have said we're going to make every effort to come up with a bipartisan bill. And so you have three Democratic senators, Max Baucus, Kent Conrad, Jeff Bingaman, negotiating with the Republicans. And the deadline keeps being pushed back. It was June 15th, June 30th, July 15th, August 1st. We're going to go every effort to get a bipartisan bill. But if not, we're making preparations to how to get this done without it.
Yeah, well, that's what you specialize in, don't you, Chuck? Let the people be damned. That is the great Chuck Schumer of Brooklyn, New York, saying that they're going to force it through no matter what the people think. Now, the headlines are most red ink ever, $9 trillion over the next decade. The same day we read that the incompetent moron Bernanke was reappointed to the Fed. The same day we read that it doesn't stop the professor, Obama, from pushing ahead with his bank-breaking plans. Next headline. The Pakistani Taliban admit that their leader was killed. Some guy named Karzai and some top rival runabout even an Afghan returns, like I care about that. I still don't know why we're in Afghanistan. No one's explained it to me. I'm still trying to understand why our men are there and dying. I still don't know. If you want to talk about that, I guess you can. It's not that interesting. Let us see. Tropical storm Ignacio on the move in the Pacific. Ruling favors Latino voters in Texas Democrat suit. You understand what that's all about, don't you? U.S. seeks crackdown on drug smuggling aboard trains. Immigrants fight to bring adult children to U.S. It's not bad enough they can have an anchor baby. They also want to bring their adult children in because we don't have enough of them. We need even more, so that's the next thing. VA investigates errant notices of fatal disease. I have no idea what that means. I'm reading you some of the headlines. SAT scores dipped for high school class of 09. I'm shocked, just shocked that the SAT scores have dipped. 1-800-449-8255, michaelsavage.com. You want to talk about any of the topics I brought up? You want to talk about a topic you want to bring up? I'm going to start giving out from now until the end of the hour free copies of Banned in Britain to anyone who gets on the program. Let's go to the first caller. My telos is down. Just put him up. Go ahead, please. Go ahead. Any caller is fine. Would I have to spell it out for you? Go ahead, please. What's on your mind?
Mr. Sat.
Yes, what's on your mind?
I ride public transportation in Marin County from Larkspur. It's just kind of adding on to what you're talking about, going through the bay. And every morning at 5:50, we depart and go towards San Francisco. A lot of times there are people in their private sculls or, rafts or whatever they're on out there in the bay. And the boat has to slow down and blast its horn 4 or 5
Oh,
times.
you mean when you see the freighters coming in around the idiots on the kayaks?
Correct.
And they act as though the freighter is disturbing them and has no right to be there. After all, the bay was created for their entertainment. It's not a waterway for commerce and fishing. It's simply a waterway for their recreational enjoyment.
Absolutely. And whether or not they're holding up, 200 or 300 people on a boat trying to get to work, it doesn't matter because the 4 of them have to scull together in front of San Quentin.
Well, you understand it's environmentally friendly. That's why they're superior. That's why they have superior virtue, because they're green and the freighter isn't green. You win a free copy, by the way, of my great new book, Banned in Britain, which will be out, so stay in the line and we'll make sure we get a copy out to you. Phone number is 1-800-449-8255. Next caller, please. Go ahead.
Savage, hey, I'm a long-time listener, and I'm a new business owner and a new father in San Francisco and a new resident at that.
Wow.
I moved here only for education. I'm in a very specialized field, industrial design. There's not a lot of great schools. But the story that actually I was going to call about, I know you love the boys in blue, and I totally support strong communities. So I don't know whether this is because they had their hands tied behind their back or what. I'll let you discern that. The story is I live in the Tenderloin because it's cheap. And, the people who live here, they aren't bad people. It's mostly the people outside the houses who really destroy these kind of neighborhoods. Everyone who's paying their rent is a good person for the most part.
You mean the bums in the street who are allowed to run wild in the streets because of the mayor and the supervisors, don't you?
The bums, the junkies, everything. Exactly, the prostitutes, the characters I'm talking about.
Yeah, but the police are told not to touch them. Kamala Harris, the DA, who is the most incompetent DA in San Francisco history, who hates the police, is in the White House as we speak talking about her success in controlling gang activity in the city. Do you believe that Kamala Harris has controlled gang activity?
From my neighborhood, no, absolutely not. I'm not.
Somebody ought to send Obama a postcard about her behavior and her success right here. I'm going to send you a free copy, by the way, of Banned in Britain when it comes out. Stay on the line. I want to make sure that you get a free copy so that you can walk around with it in the streets of San Francisco. Austin, Texas. John, welcome to the Savage Nation.
Yes, hello. I took my wife to San Francisco. I'm an inventor. I went there 3 years ago, and we stayed outside the city this time. Mm-hmm. And so we went to Lombard Street, about a block and a half away, parked our PT Cruiser, which was the only thing we could rent at the San Francisco airport from the particular rental agency we had. We're going about 15 minutes. We walked down to the bottom of Lombard Street, came back up, left her window totally smashed out. Never had anything like that happen. So we went to the police station. Took us, probably 5-6 miles with a GPS thing to get there. The policeman was awesome, really sweet. Well, the short story is the 5 university students in front of us, all females, had had their car broken into. They'd had their iPods, their computers, everything stolen, term papers, all that. And as we're leaving, there's this other guy coming in, and I thought he was going to beat me up. He looked so mean. Well, it ends up he's talking to the same cop, and he says, my rental car was just busted into. So that was 3 in a row. And the poor policeman, bless his heart, he was the nicest person you ever want to meet.
Right, but his hands are tied by the district attorney who will not prosecute such crimes. They're considered part of the lifestyle of San Francisco. Well, that concludes the discussion of why tourism is dying in the city. I'm sure that the mayor and the supervisors did not listen, just as Obama is blind, deaf, and dumb to the people.
Savage. Michael Savage. Afternoons 3 to 7 on Talk 910 KNEW and online at 910KNEW.com.